What's happening, Cage Nation? It is Kevin Jackwitz here with the Caged Review. I just got done watching Ready Player One. And I'm sure you guys are thinking, well, KJ, what did you think? Well, let me tell you. I thought it was a very, very well done movie. One of the best Spielberg movies in recent memory. Liked it almost from beginning to end. The whole concept of this movie, you caught in the trailer if you've seen it, which is this guy creates this virtual reality world that everybody can live in and kind of live vicariously different lives. It allows them to be, something other than themselves and live something other than their normal drudgery life. And the concept of the movie is the creator of this world has died. And so he has created a contest for one winner to find these 3 keys, find this Easter egg, and he gets control of the entire virtual reality oasis that he has created. Now, of course, this brings in this electronics company, IOI, who is, the corporate bad guy who is putting all these big dollars and a lot of people into this oasis, into this contest, so that they can gain control over it and monetize it a lot more than it is. So, it really is an interesting idea. The way it was written was very well done. I have not read the book, but I would have to imagine that Ernest Cline did an amazing job because it really is a good story. And it's very unique. And with all the pop culture stuff that Cline added to it, you have to believe that, he probably did with this in mind at some point. And Spielberg taking on the movie, I thought was very, very cool because there's so much Spielberg that's already in the movie. There's a lot of love given to a lot of the old Spielberg movies. And I don't know if, the younger generation is going to know how much Spielberg has influenced movies, but it's a lot. When you go back to, the original Back to the Future series, the Jurassic Park series, E.T., all these movies that he touched on that were just phenomenal. And he's done a lot of, more serious roles too. And the guy just turned everything to magic. And he was the director-producer to have in the day. So it was kind of cool that there was a lot of nods to Spielberg and that he decided to take on this movie and make it what it became, because it really is a great movie, I think. So I'll kind of touch briefly. There's a lot of characters in this movie. I don't want to spend too much time, breaking down every single person, what they did, So I'll give a very quick rundown of what I thought each actor did for each role. And Ty Sheridan, who plays Parzival, or Wade Watts, which is the main character of the movie. He's the main protagonist. I really liked him. He fit in the movie. I haven't seen much from Sheridan before, so I would have to say he did a very good job holding the role. He seems to have a very wide range of emotion as an actor. I thought it was really good. Olivia Cooke, who plays Artemis or Samantha, equally very good. It was funny because when I thought, when I hadn't seen her as an actress yet and didn't get to see all her, facial inflection, and she was just the avatar in this oasis, I actually thought she was phenomenal. And when you finally meet her, it's like, okay, maybe a little bit lesser value there because of the, like I said, the facial inflection and shit. But not bad at all. Ben Mendelsohn as Sorrento. Sorrento is one of the heads at IOI. He's a guy who used to work with the creator of the Oasis, and he's trying to get it and make it a corporate property. Certainly something to monetize. I like Mendelsohn. He's good at playing the bad guys. It's certainly not the first movie I've seen him play the bad guy in. He's got that look about him. And it kind of works. It really does. I think he played his part fairly well. Honestly, one of my biggest problems with the movie is there's this character called IROC who Mendelsohn Sorrento, the main bad guy, teams up with this guy called IROC who's voiced by TJ Miller, and you never see him outside of the Oasis, so you just see the avatar and you hear the voice. And the only problem with that I have is TJ Miller, to me, is a very cheesy comedian. He doesn't really come off that funny to me. I didn't think he was funny in Transformers. I didn't think he was funny here. He was okay in Deadpool. But then again, you have to wonder how much was actually TJ Miller or the writing. Miller just doesn't, I mean, he's just not that funny to me. So he was kind of the weak point here. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't like, oh my God, I can't stand this. He certainly was the weak link, though. Simon Pegg plays Ogden Morrow, who was like the co-founder of the Oasis who stepped away from it. And there's a couple of cool things you find out about him later in the movie, which I don't want to get into just yet. Lena Waithe plays H or Helen. And that was kind of cool because I'm saying H and Helen. If you start to watch the movie, well, you know Helen's a girl's name. So there's this character calls himself H. You're assuming it's a guy. And turns out to be this black lady in her mid-30s. I thought that was kind of cool, actually. It's kind of the whole thing about, you never know who someone really is behind an avatar or something in a game, or, people can be whatever they want to be online. It's when you meet them, you start to realize, oh, yeah, I got played. So that was kind of cool. I like that they threw that in there. Mark Rylance, I'm guessing. He's the guy who plays Anorak, the Avatar, or Halliday, the creator of the Oasis. He did a really good job playing this like weird, quirky, multi-trillion-dollar worthy guy who just doesn't really fit in with the rest of the world. And that's clearly what they were going for, and it just worked really, really well. He's this quiet, nice, unassuming guy, but just a little bit weird. And Mark really did a great job of hitting that on the head. Halliday, there are parts where he's a very likable character, and that's a lot due to Mark's performance, Philip Zell plays Sho. Sho is this 11-year-old kid who, has this like super badass avatar. And he was really cute. He was kind of made for some of the cute, funny moments in the movie, and it worked really well. And I'm gonna try to get this name right. Win Mojiski. And he plays Daito, and I'm sorry if I butcher that name, but he is another guy who's pretty solid in the movie. He plays this like Asian, maybe Chinese guy known martial arts and very good with computers. And he has a couple of scenes that are very, very cool, especially in the real world outside of the Oasis. Um, a lot of the fun of this movie is in the Oasis. You're introduced to it very quickly, and there's a lot of visual effects that are amazing. Uh, there's a couple of like Inception-esque parts where you have like the whole world kind of moving around, and you know there's one part where there's this race and you see a bunch of buildings and then they start to shift and a big ramp just kind of peels out of nowhere, and you know that's how the racers start. Very cool special effects. Like, this is one of those pre-summer blockbusters that probably should have been a summer blockbuster. This had visually enough to keep you entertained the entire movie. Very, very, very cool job with some of the ideas they had for this. One of the things I really liked about the movie was not just the visual effects, but how they were used. Because the whole concept of the movie is you're in a virtual reality world where you're playing a game to, you know, win the prize at the end, which is this Easter egg. And, I mean, the idea is that you have the rules of a game. And they really use that to its fullest advantage. And they use different types of games incorporated into this whole Oasis trial setup. You had, you know, a driving game, you had a shooter game, you had a puzzle game. A lot of different things rolled into one. So I thought it was just really, really cool that they did this like this. And throughout the movie, there were a lot of things about, you know, don't get lost into your fantasy world so much that you forget the real world, because that's what's really important. And I did appreciate that, you know, because there are people who they get way overboard and stuff, and they become fanatics, and that's their life. But it's not real, and then so they're sacrificing their real life. So I did like some of that. I really did. I thought it was very, very cool. One of the big standout moments for me, and this is a little bit of spoiler talk, it's not big time spoiler talk. I'm not like ruining any plot, you know, or anything like that. But yeah, if you don't want any spoilers at all, then, you know, tune out now. I'm going to start with smaller spoilers, and I'll let you know when I get into the real spoil talk. But there was this scene about midway through the movie. They're looking for the second key, and they were talking about the movies, you know, something that Halliday might have taken this girl to see. And it turned out to be The Shining of all movies. Now, if you've ever seen The Shining, it has some disturbing stuff in it. So I was like, how in the hell are they going to do this? And of course they had the two girls standing next to each other. They walk into the elevator. One of the guys, H, hits the elevator button and a rush of blood comes through. And thankfully they kind of toned down the blood aspect of it. It was just like a red river. There was like the naked girl getting out of the tub, and there are a couple of scenes in this movie that I really felt like weren't for kids. Like, even though it's a movie kind of about gaming and stuff like that, it really has a couple of moments where you have adult themes in there. But anyway, this naked lady gets out of the tub, and then of course she deteriorates into this like zombie-like chick trying to kill H. And there's some really, really cool stuff that they did with The Shining. And it turned out that it was all kind of like a red herring in a way. You know, it's meant to preoccupy people with what's happening in front of them and not thinking about the real trail behind it. So that was cool. And they had like the big shrub maze that they they had H running through the shrub maze, um, and then you got axes flying around from these like zombie chicks, which was like again the whole point was like The Shining was a red herring. So it was really cool the way they did that. I want to talk about standouts too, as far as like cameos, because they had a lot of cameos in this movie. A lot of cameos. And I'm probably quite sure that I'm not going to get them all. Might not even get half of them. But some of the standouts that I noticed is you get to see Beetlejuice, RoboCop, Hello Kitty. You had Batman, Batgirl, Catwoman, Harley Quinn. You had Ryu, and I think they had Akuma from Street Fighter in there. You had King Kong. You had the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park. You saw the DeLorean, the Bigfoot monster truck, the Iron Giant, and you saw Ninja Turtles show up, Master Chief, a bunch of Master Chiefs actually. Like I said, the Shining segment, Freddy Krueger, Jason from Friday the 13th. And it was funny because H is like, they're in this race and they're, in this fight against the IOI. And H is like, here, take this, and throws Chucky at Wade. And then Wade throws Chucky, and he just goes on a killing spree, which I thought was really funny. I mean, it was pretty cool. I have to say, I like that. So, I mean, a lot of the fun of this movie was picking out all of these pop culture icons and things like that. That part was definitely very well done. And there was one part, I'm not sure if it was meant to be Deadpool or Scorpion. I didn't get a very good look, but it was either Deadpool or Scorpion that was walking right next to Wade as he was walking into this like little dance hall. It was very cool. So with that alone, the movie was worth it to me. I mean, it was just so much fun to be able to sit there and be like, hey, there's this, and very cool. I'll try to get into spoiler talk now. So if you really don't want spoilers, then now I'm going to start really talking about what happens in the movie. I really liked when you found out at the end that Halliday was really still alive, and I think that that's what they were heading towards, is the fact that, at the end of the movie, he's sitting there and he's talking, and Wade's like, you're not an Avatar, are you? And he's like, no. And he's like, you're not dead, are you? He's like, no. Well, no, he doesn't outright say that. I take that back. He doesn't outright say it, but it really implies that that's actually Halliday, and he's just trying to pass the torch to somebody who's worthy. Kind of like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. Which I thought was cool. I really think that that's a better way of, telling the story. The only thing that I really thought was maybe not the best was IROC for one. He was just cheesy. He was a cool looking character, but TJ Miller is just, like I said, not funny. But the other part was, I don't know who the actress or even the character was, but there was this like mercenary that was working for the IOI, and Sorrento was always trying to get her, and she was very one-dimensional, and it was basically the typical assassin for hire, only doing things for money, doesn't really care, and didn't really set up anything for the movie. Those are the only issues I had. The whole part where they blew up part of the stacks where Wade was living, visually it was very cool. Like, I first of all, I really liked the way the stacks were built. I thought that looked amazing. And it was cool when they, had the drones that plant the explosives and then the thing blows up. but there wasn't really too much of an emotional payoff there. I would think for a scene like that, especially coming from a Spielberg movie, that he'd want that moment where you like really see Wade Watts, torn up because the only family he's known is dead now. And you really didn't get that emotional payoff there. So it was kind of a, you get the really cool visual, the explosion, the whole thing coming down, but a little bit of a lack of an emotional moment there. So I thought that was, and they really bring up some good points about, living life in this virtual reality and letting it affect your real life. Because like I said, I do know plenty of people that do that, and that's why you have to, if you're like, especially if you're a gamer and you're into games, which I am, I absolutely love gaming. You got to do it, I say, responsibly, because you invest yourself into this stuff. But, you have to live in the real world at points. And to extend that, they talk about, talking to people online and how anybody could be anything they want to be online. And there was a joke that H made to Wade when he first met Samantha or Artemis. And he's like, catching feelings for this person he's never met. And H is like, you don't know, that could be a 300-pound dude on the other end. And that's so true. Like, people do that, and you have to be careful. So overall, the themes in the movie were very, very good. The overall story was very good, and the visual effects were spectacular. Just absolutely spectacular from beginning to end. And this is everything a summer blockbuster should be. It really is. It's fast-paced at points, it's entertaining, it's visually wowing, it does have a good story to it, and I mean, it's got some good character build-up, especially with Artemis, because she's talking to Wade, and there's parts where she's like, you don't live in the real world, this is your world, and, I'm out here struggling and surviving, trying to keep the Oasis from the IOI. And you're just trying to get a payday. And, so there was a nice evolution of character there, which I really did like. There wasn't really too many weak points in this movie. I'd probably give it an 8 or 9 out of 10. And, clearly I'm not a film critic. Clearly. I just know what I like, and I really like this movie. It was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal, in my opinion. Something that is definitely worth watching a few times, I think. And I think part of the fun of that is just picking out all the characters you missed from the first time. I've only seen it once, and I guarantee you I have missed characters in there. So, I probably will go back and watch it again. Probably actually take my girlfriend to go see it, because it is highly entertaining. It really is. So ladies and gentlemen, that's my thoughts on the movie. I had a lot of fun with it. Unfortunately, I went by myself for this one. My girlfriend had to work, and the family is actually getting everything ready. We're going on a weekend trip, so I'm leaving tomorrow for the weekend. So it was unfortunate that I didn't really get to share this movie with anybody, but I wanted to see it day one because I wanted to do this review. I thought it was important to get this one out first because I was like, this is going to be a big movie this summer. So I'm going to go ahead, get it out there day one, do the review. And so I'm glad I got to see it and got to see it early and do this review, and I'll post it before I leave for the weekend so everybody can see it. I really would have liked to have had, my girlfriend or somebody else there to talk to and, just have a lot of fun with picking things out. Because it is that kind of movie. It really is fun. And it brings up a lot of good conversation pieces, I think, too. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked the review, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackwitz. Cage Nation, out.